Torpedo. Okay, I just got hit up with a comment from, well, it was actually a reply to my comment on Brash Dasher. Brash Dasher. He's here on YouTube. He's a content creator. Actually, it wasn't him, though. It was a guy named Jeff Thomas Black. I'll leave a link to this on Brash Dasher's video. That's how I do it these days, because they took away the response video subject matter about 10 years ago. Anyway, let's move on. His comment reads, not to rub salt in the wound, but Dashers target you directly with orders you see in the market. Everyone sees the bid, the same business. It's a game like any other, blah, blah, blah. And then comes back with... oh, man. This is a interesting one because it's talking about 40,000 Dash miles in 2 years. For me, agreed. If you can do your own work and have multiple cars, that seems like an advantage. Nobody with a real job drives their car for work without reimbursement, other than personal commute. Well, I don't know what that means. I have no clue what that means. I asked him what it meant, and I did type it in there. Define reimbursement types, please, because I've never had a W-2 job where if my car broke down, they reimbursed me for a damn thing. Independent contracting is no different. I had a buddy of mine that was he worked not for Home Depot, but it was a subcontractor for Home Depot. He had to buy his own car, his own insurance, his own maintenance, all that stuff. I know the only reimbursement I know of is when you get reimbursed per mile, but that's not even from DoorDash. That's for the government. What is it, 62 cents a mile now? It was like 54 or something. But this other guy on here was complaining about... I'm still looking because I just saw it a second ago about that you run your car into the ground basically, and that it's not worth it because it's too expensive to fix when something breaks down, and nobody reimburse you for that. So, and I basically just told him, I says, well, the only reason I took this on full time dashing was because I'm a shade tree mechanic. I have been for better part of 20, 30 years, and other than catastrophic failure, transmission, rod knock, things that you're just going to have to replace the whole damn drivetrain for, I do it myself. But having the backups is nice. If it's a big deal that I can fix, then, when car sits, I fix it as I can. Get the money, get the time, God forbid, weather, and, you move on. So, that's what gets me about this. If you go into this line of work knowing that if your car has a problem, you got to go to Michael Tire or Goodyear or your local mechanic, well, then don't do it. That would be my recommendation. Would be don't do it unless you got this line of credit cards, that maybe add up to $10,000-$20,000 that you could just charge it, but then you're making payments on that, so that's got to come from somewhere. So I wouldn't even do this job if that was the case, and I certainly wouldn't do it if my main car was my only car. I'm being completely honest. As a shade tree mechanic, I can tell you, there are lots of cars out there that run and drive for $1,000 to $3,000, and the $3,000 ones are super nice. You just got to, be able to do certain things to them. I mean, and let's not forget, you got YouTube. You could just about find any way to fix a car on YouTube that there is. And then you have all kinds of ways to pay for things like through AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts, or you got eBay, you got Amazon, you got all these other places, and you can be paying for, or 6 months same as cash and stuff like that to buy a $300 part. Do it yourself. And so I don't quite buy into the fact that these guys are one-sided to the point where they say, well, this is going to run your car into the ground. You got to put tires on it. You got to get oil changes, and you're going to need a starter and a fuel pump, and it's just a waste of time because you're going to end up putting all that money back into fixing the car. It's like, well, yeah, I had a W-2 for almost 40 years, okay? And in that time, I had so many cars break down, I can't even count that high. And I'll be honest with you, it didn't matter to the car that I was a W-2. They still broke down. And there was no reimbursement. The reimbursement was me. So it's the same thing now. Nothing's changed. And then they talk about car insurance for independent contractors. I'm like, I don't know where that came from. I've been hearing that for the last 8 months. Car insurance for independent contractors, another reimbursement thing. I'm like, well, first of all, don't use the customer's driveway, ever. Under any circumstance, unless it's absolutely necessary. And even when that happens, my hazards go on, and my car's halfway in the driveway and halfway in the street. I ain't going to be there 30 seconds. I am not driving down. If I have to walk a quarter mile, and I've damn near done it twice, that's what I'm doing. I'm not driving through somebody's property to drop food off. I'll walk that shit. I'm not crippled. I can do it. So I'm insured for the car. And then there was another channel on here that was talking about, well, how'd they put that? You're going to lose everything if you don't have independent contracting insurance for your automobile. The police will get you. I'm like, what do you mean? So when they pull you over for a car accident, the first thing out of your mouth is, I'm an independent contractor, and I just want to give you that information up front. I'm currently on a delivery. Well, then, you know what? You just stuck your finger up your own butt. You don't have to talk to law number one. It's called ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I don't know how many more ways I can put this. If you're driving legally with car insurance, that's enough. If you run over somebody's mailbox, then that makes it very clear that you weren't paying attention. That's when the property owner can get you. My delivery driver hit my mailbox or ruined a bush. Now you got problems because your insurance company's going to say, you did what? That car's not insured for delivery driving. What the hell were you doing on their property to begin with? Why did you drive their car up to... All right, that escapes me why anybody would do that. At most, it's 50 yards on these really nice houses to walk up a driveway. Parking the street like FedEx does. Have you ever seen a FedEx van or a UPS truck in someone's driveway? The mailman, FedEx, USPS, none of those guys do that. There's a reason for it. Because their employer told them not to. You park in the street. You could hit their cars. You could ruin their grass, the mailbox. Oh my God, forbid your brakes went out when you're driving down the driveway and running their house. These are just things that I thought were common sense. You park in the street. And if you got to turn around, I don't even use the customer's house for that. You know what I do? I drive up the street and use one of their neighbor's driveways and do a turnabout. Why? Because if I hit the neighbor's mailbox, I wasn't on delivery, now was I? Let that sink in for about a half a second. So, employees can't be mandated using... this comment just popped back up. I never go over 10 minutes. I got to see what this says, because as I'm making this video, this content, as it were, Jeff Thomas Black got back to me and said, employers can't mandate use of personal vehicle for business use without reimbursement. Dashing isn't a job. Okay, that's a contradiction in terms. Employers can't mandate use of personal vehicle for business use without reimbursement. Dashing isn't a job. Contradiction in terms. I can't respond to that. I have no words. You're going to have to clear that up. You're going to have to put it to me. See, you said it in Korean. I need you to put that to me in German, because I don't understand it. I'm still speaking English here. It sounds to me like you got a little bit of an argument going, but you lost your footing. And that's okay, because I do that all the time. But when it comes to using your own car for a W-2 or independent contracting, car doesn't give a shit what you're doing. It's going to break down regardless, and you're going to have to pay for it no matter what. So this whole reimbursement thing when you're running your car into the ground, I don't buy it. And the reason I don't buy it is because I did both. Cars don't care. That's where the difference is in this economy. Cars aren't racist. They break down on both jobs. Either you can fix it yourself or you shouldn't be doing this. And that goes for W-2s as well. Torp out.